For decades, there has been an entrenched assumption in the technology sector. If you want to build truly global internet infrastructure, you need to be physically close to the networks, the talent, and the capital of places like San Francisco. But the internet itself does not operate on zip codes. It relies entirely on universal, objective performance metrics, which is exactly why the founders of Nimbika built their company from Rangpur, Bangladesh. Operating thousands of miles from traditional venture capital hubs and dealing with 12-hour time zone differences, they faced severe geographic isolation. Instead of building a localized app, they decided to tackle one of the most complex infrastructure bottlenecks on the web. They bet that writing world-class code would completely override their physical location. Because on the internet, the physical location where code is written matters far less than the objective performance metrics that code can achieve. They targeted a platform that powers over 40% of the web, WordPress. Despite its massive footprint, WordPress is built on a heavy architectural model called dynamic rendering. Every single time a visitor clicks a link, the server has to build that page from scratch. It executes live PHP scripts, runs multiple database queries, and pieces the layout together before it can send a single byte of data to the user's screen. The standard industry response is to install caching plugins. These tools save temporary copies of pages, but they still rely on that original server. When a site experiences a sudden traffic spike or a customer logs into a dynamic shopping cart, that cache is bypassed and the origin server buckles under the load. This inherent slowness causes standard WordPress sites to consistently fail Google's core web vitals, the strict metrics search engines use to measure how fast a page loads, how quickly it responds to interaction, and how visually stable it is. Solving this bottleneck requires a complete architectural shift that removes the origin server from the delivery process entirely. Nimbika's engineering philosophy completely bypasses the origin server. Before a visitor even types in a URL, the platform pre-builds the entire WordPress site into static HTML, CSS, and modern lightweight image formats like WebP and AVIF. Historically, fully static sites had a glaring flaw. If a user updated a single price on a dynamic WooCommerce store, the system would force a massive, hours-long rebuild of every single page on the website. To fix this, Nimbika built an incremental build engine. When a site owner makes an update, the system identifies only the specific pages affected by that change and rebuilds those exact files in under 30 seconds. An underlying artificial intelligence layer constantly maps these content relationships in the background. During those rapid rebuilds, it automatically executes dozens of micro-optimizations, trimming unused code and compressing media on the fly. By decoupling the content management from the page delivery, users keep the familiar WordPress editing experience while destroying its traditional speed limits. Which brings us back to the team's physical isolation in Rangpur. They built a solution that requires a client's website to literally be everywhere at once. This dashboard map shows how those pre-built static pages are pushed out to a massive global edge network, distributed across more than 300 CDN nodes worldwide. This deployment physically moves the client's code thousands of miles closer to the end user. If a customer in London requests a page, it is served by a server in London, eliminating latency almost entirely. Because this decentralized web of static nodes absorbs over 99% of public traffic, the origin server becomes immune. A viral traffic spike or a coordinated DDoS attack simply hits the edge network and bounces off. By engineering this global edge network, the team in Rangpur used digital topography to erase the physical distance between businesses and their customers. The true test of this architecture relies on measuring Nimbika against the internet's most unforgiving, objective standards. This interface displays the results of those edge deployments. Websites experience a 16 times increase in load speeds and achieve a time to first byte, the millisecond a browser receives its first piece of data, of under 45 milliseconds. Looking at this performance report, we see perfect scores across the board. The platform guarantees a 100% pass rate on Google's core web vitals, solving the exact problem that traditional plugins fail to fix. For an enterprise client running a massive campaign, raw speed is just the baseline. When 100,000 concurrent users hit their site, they are paying for a 99.99% uptime guarantee and 0 crashes. Under the intense pressure of these enterprise demands, the physical origin of the software, whether coded in San Francisco or Bangladesh, ceases to matter. This project demonstrates that the physical proximity once required to build high-tier web infrastructure has evaporated. A small team can now engineer and manage a global network that consistently outperforms the legacy providers of the traditional tech hubs. True innovation is borderless. If a team can clear the internet's highest technical bar, the new center of the tech world is wherever they happen to open their laptops.